Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast in the history of podcasting. I'm Bill Caskey.
I'm Bryan Neal here.
And we are delighted that you're with us every week, but especially today because we're winding down the year and we've got a topic today that we think is unique. It's not your basic business planning topic. It's a little bit deeper than that. And so we're going to get into that.
It's got an acronym, TFI.
It is TFI.
Stay tuned. So, Bill, you an animal lover?
I am, but I don't have any pets right now. But
no animals to love. So I wouldn't call myself an animal lover. I'm a respecter. I like it. I like watching like wilderness shows, especially sea. I got my scuba diving thing. I like all those things. There's an animal, a creature that lives here in the Midwest. I think it's in most of the North America. The Canada goose. Mm-hmm. Canada goose. Be a very, very annoying creature. Mm-hmm. For us in the Midwest because they hover around our retention ponds and our golf courses. They mate and breed, and then they have lots of babies, and then they poop all over the place, eat and tear up grass. Most people in the Midwest, pretty bird, and they're very aggressive.
They are.
You know what I mean? They hiss at you, and they protect their young when they're born. Okay. So we have a little dilemma with that. There is a group, and you can't see it. Maybe I can get a picture there. I can't really hold it up to the camera. It's a little too far away. There is a little triad of geese here in our neighborhood, and the baby geese, who's now like a teenager, has no wings. Its wings are either something like that.
I just pulled it up a little bit. Okay.
It's hard to see.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to see, but it's got like little things, and its mom and dad won't leave it. And it has been walking around our neighborhood since it was born. And everybody in the neighborhood knows it, and it can't fly away, and the parents won't leave it. And it's very charming to think of it that way. Here's the question. So I take little videos of them, and I take little pictures of them because they walk around. They can't go anywhere. They can't fly. The parents don't fly. It's very nice. It's like, this is a really cool, charming thing to watch. And not the way you want a goose to live, but they're doing okay. They live in a double gated community with a retention pond and getting fed by
mom.
And exactly. And so I was taking a video, and this woman drive by. She's like, I'm taking video too. She goes, you hear what's going on? I'm like, no. She said they're going to euthanize the little guy so that the parents can fly away. And I'm like, that's not.
Did we check with the parents?
Well, where's the Canada Goose Scruples book? Like, is this an okay thing to do? Is this like it's almost like a medical ethics question. I know the goose isn't living its best life just, walking around the neighborhood, but it's doing okay. You know what I mean? Not really in risk of getting hit by a car or anything. Now, there's a time when you would swerve your car to hit the geese because you can't stand them, and there's like 9,000 of them. But these little guys, I'm like, leave them alone. So I'm against euthanizing this dude and let nature take its course, because then the geese, its mom and dad are going to be all sad. It's like, anyway,
they're not going to want to go anywhere, and then they're going to be hissing and pooping more.
Yeah, right. Because we took their baby from them anyway. So I feel bad for my little guy running around with no wings, and the parents, and I don't know who made the decision, and whose decision is it to euthanize them?
That's exactly right.
Right? Is it the homeowners association? It's not. They don't do anything. They literally live kind of in the woods by this place, and they walk across these two lakes, and they swim and eat, and then they walk back. And there's
it's like
three of them.
Humans, infusing themselves into nature, into God's will and God's way, and not to get super religious, but it's like,
let it be.
This is not your business. This is the business of the geese.
Of the natural world. Yeah, natural world. Which is very unique to hear people from Indiana say that they want to save a goose, because usually we're like, get rid of them because there's 1,000 of them and they're doing bad things to our yards and our golf courses and everything like that. But anywho, just want to get your take on that. I'm not this animal rights dude. That's not really my bag. And in this case,
I'm not either.
I am for the goose.
I am for the goose.
For the goose.
Yeah, keep us posted on that. In fact, if you want to take some video, we can.
I do have some video. I do have some video of the goose, and we should have a naming contest. Little guy's got no wings. Wingless bird.
But anyway,
I didn't want to bring us down. But
Beethoven was deaf when he created Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
See,
there's
hope.
Somebody wanted to euthanize him because, shit,
he couldn't hear. What get now? We can't have a piano player that can't hear.
No,
what are we doing?
I mean, how many have there been?
True.
None. Okay.
Zero.
So,
Anywho.
yeah.
All right, let's go to our topic. A little bit of a carryover topic here.
It is.
Got an
wanna,
acronym. You do the acronym if you don't mind. The acronym here that we're going to do.
Well, last week we talked about the pull that sometimes we feel when we get ready to grow, and it's this invisible pull that sometimes is holding us back. And it might be pull from how we were brought up, our scripts, our parents, our current families, or just we get so locked into the old way of doing things. And you and I come along and we try to pull people out of that, and there's some resistance. And then we started to talk a little bit about, are we really thriving? Are we really fulfilled in what we do? And then we talked here in the pre-show, and Bryan had a good idea. And he said, well, why don't we take inventory? If it's a good time of year, end of one year, heading into the other, why don't we do a little thriving and fulfillment index? Was an indicator?
Inventory. The
TFI.
Of course.
Right. Thriving and fulfillment indicator, and say, well, what is it going to take next year? I'm sorry.
Inventory.
I want it to be indicator.
I can tell, and index. But anyway.
TFI. And so as we're planning 2024, and we typically do this planning, income and what do we need to do to accomplish it. But what if there was a section on that planning document that was about thriving and fulfillment? That seems like a logical thing to be mindful of.
Isn't it? I think everyone they do just what you say when you're doing you're kind of looking back, and what you tend to do is look back and say, what went well, what worked, what results did I get that were good? And then what do I want in the future? It's all external stuff. I think adding this will be, and doing this one first, because we're still a little early in the, early in the end of the year per se. It's not December 19th yet. And say what has fulfilled me, what has made me thrive as a person, as a human, and what hasn't, what has sucked joy from me, what has been a grind, what has been something I've had to make myself do, what has kept me out of flow, those sorts of things. And really looking back and going, because I think the trick, the kind of the dilemma we get caught in here is that things that are good external outcomes, we go, I made this big commissioner thing, weren't fulfilling. Right. But we can't say that. And so it's like, that's fine, but that didn't fulfill me. So I don't want to chase that next year. I want to chase something different. So
the joy suckers.
Yeah.
Joy suckers.
Givers, right.
And the grinder and the things that grind at us. We grind, and there's a reason it's called the grind, because it grinds back at us.
It does, right.
So
we want to find ourselves in flow. Yeah.
Can we go through this and maybe each of us give our own personal?
Yes.
Okay. I'll start and I'll give one that I think if I were to do this, I would be more fulfilled and thrive more next year. So the question is, what is this that you're going to do?
Totally.
And mine is authenticity, or being more authentic. I think sometimes I go with the crowd because to step outside the conformist crowd is painful for me, because I'm kind of a get along to go along kind of guy.
Yep.
And yet I know that that's not serving me. And so as I build my brand and continue to do the work, I like the work that I do, but it's how do I position myself out there in the marketplace? And I think I'm severely lacking at being truly authentic and real, and not like stupid, brutally honest real, not like, but just having an authentic, So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because you do this exercise and you see your people like, I don't take you that way, but you do take yourself, which is all that matters, really.
Yeah, it's all that matters.
It's great. That's really great. My first thing that came to my mind was I feel burdened by being the guy. And in the client relationships with me and you, people get attached to Bill. We want Bill to come in. We want Bill to do the coaching. We want Bill. It's Bill, which is at one point ego feeling, stroking, like feels good. You know what I mean? Like builds you up on the inside. Yeah. And then over time, for whatever reason, it can become a burden. And like, I don't want to be the guy. I want you to be the guy. I want the customer, the client. I want you to be the, or the stuff or whatever that is.
Oops.
That was a bad look. Really bad look. That was really bad.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's funny though.
Itchy fingers.
So moving away from, even we're making some changes in our product offering that change that.
Mm-hmm.
But when that was what I chased in the past. I remember being really young when I first started working with you. I just wanted to be you. I want to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be the guy anymore. It's like,
Yeah. Or you want to be the guy in a different way. It doesn't mean that you want to be out of the business. Maybe.
No, not at all.
It's more, how do I be the guy that I am today for my clients and for your team versus the same guy that I was 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's better said.
Yeah. I like that one. I think that's really good. What else would I say that would cause me to thrive?
I have one if you need time.
Yeah, go ahead and do one.
This is funny
to you, and I'll think about it.
Because it's funny because we say it's like a deeper exercise, but this is actually a mechanical thing. But this has to more to do with the type of work that we're doing. I freaking love podcasting. Mm-hmm. I love audio. I love the mechanics of it. I like it more than video. I like it more than live. It's scalable. I just love it. I love it. Exactly. I do. And I think about, we do 1 episode a week and that sort of thing. It's like, man, if that was my, 20% of the time gig where I did more of this, I just really get lifted up when I know I've got podcast. I look for every time I see podcast recording on the calendar, I'm excited. I'm pumped. Even if I'm tired today. I'm excited. I'm never like, look at that, and other things I do. I look at the calendar, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got that. Yeah. Never do that with podcasting. It's the opposite. I love it. Love it. Love it.
That's interesting. Cause I was thinking the same thing the other day is, I got to watch how deep I get into this, but, and listening to that urge that causes you to say, I love podcasting, or what it represents, or whatever. It might not be podcasting. It might be being on camera, being able to share your ideas with the world, being able to hear back how those ideas are received, that whole thing, whether it's podcasting or YouTube or whatever it is. But then the question is, well, why don't we do it all? Why don't we do more?
I know.
And I don't mean every day. I mean, you could have 3 or 5. I know, Adam Carolla has 5 podcasts now.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think he's working harder. I mean, he's just showing up, say, okay, we're going to record this podcast now. And his podcasts are 2 hours long. But we typically go back to, okay, yeah, we do podcasting, but what about client work?
Right. So that's where the check comes from, the big checks.
I know.
At least, right? It's true.
But the whole idea of a media platform that is interesting to me, because it's not just podcasting, although that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
100%. And then I think that the question has never been asked. So this is back to what we talked about last time. So you build a business up that generates a certain level of income and lifestyle for you, and then it becomes a burden because it's awesome from that standpoint. But the work that goes into that is fulfilling. But then when it gets to the tippy top of the ceiling, there's no,
more is not more fulfilling.
No.
In many ways, it's more work, and
yes,
you love the money and you love the fame or the whatever, or the fame and fortune. But
gives you, it provides for your family. We get a chance to give the kids a great life, and afford to do lots of fun things.
Your kids will be gone, and they'll be on their own, which they are close to being now, and
100%. Yeah,
and they will appreciate the life, or maybe not, but they may or may not appreciate the life you've given them. But they'll be on their own to do their own life, and they'll listen to what you taught them, and they've watched you work and your work ethic and all that, and they'll take all that. And that's probably worth more than paid education.
I would say.
So I'm with you there. I think one of the things that stops me is an idea comes to me. Like, I've got an idea right now for something that we want to do next year.
Yeah.
and it's in the same business, and it's a product line thing, product extension. And I was looking at it and I was analyzing. I was thinking, oh, this could be fun. And, you don't know if these things are going to work. You're just really, it's all hunch. It's all just your instinct. But I noticed myself starting to doubt myself. And I noticed that I even took into account this invisible pull of other people around me and started to doubt whether that would do for our family what the current business does for the family. And I think sometimes we discount our ideas because our ideas, to me, come from a universal source of vibration. I don't know how you want to metaphysically describe it, but there's a reason we have an idea for something.
Yeah, for sure.
And usually that idea has some kind of meat around it if we would only nurture it and let it prosper and let it kind of formulate. So don't discount the ideas you have. And as you go through this exercise that we're talking about here, an idea may have struck you. It's like, you know what, Bryan and Bill are right. I need to be doing more of this. Don't lose that. Write that down and be with it and meditate on it and ruminate and talk to other people. And we have to be more kind to our own idea generation, because these ideas that, like you just talked about, the podcast thing. I don't know if you're going to do anything with that. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that, but that's an idea. You wouldn't have that idea if there weren't value in it.
No. And then all the things pile on. When it's fulfilling, it just piles on. Meaning you get better at it. You tune in on it more. More people are drawn to it because you're in your flow. They can feel it, right? They feel it. They're like, oh, this is awesome. Did I talk about Rick Rubin a couple episodes ago?
You did.
I did, didn't I? Yeah. It's just,
and I like it.
I just can't get this interview with Rick Rubin out of my mind about this.
Who did it? Who did the interview?
Yeah. I don't even know who it was. Who was the interviewer? I've seen her on TikTok a bunch. So Rick Rubin's a really famous record producer. Worked with the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Tom Petty, Johnny Cash, all these people. He just talks about that your job I said this last time, I think, your job may not be your passion thing, but it allows you to let your passion thing happen. Yeah. So we may still do our sales coaching gigs so that we can do this podcasting thing that may not produce as much income either way, whatever that is. But just he's so pure in what he knows and his stuff. He told the story. This is kind of related, but Tom Petty sent him a bunch of songs that he was working on. It's 3 or 4, a bunch, like 3 or 4, 5, 6 songs. Listening to these songs, he was like, okay. There was one little gap where Tom was like warming up and playing this little riff. He goes, that's the song. And Tom's, it's like, that's not a song. I was just warming up. He goes, I know, but if you want my honest opinion of all the things on here, that's it. And it was the opening to a song called Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Oh, yeah.
Which is down, out, down, down, out. It was that. That's all Rick heard.
That's all.
And I'm thinking that the trust in yourself, this is back to your thing. You have this idea and then you start to doubt it. And then Rick Rubin just didn't, and he's talking to Tom Petty. Now Rick Rubin already made a name for himself, but still it's Tom Petty. You know what I mean? And to say to Tom Petty, nah, these songs are but this one's really good. And to trust that and then come up with a hit like that, which is, that's a gift and it's something you can develop. You know what I mean?
And I think when you told that story last time, I said, if you'll remember, my words were, everybody needs a Rick Rubin in their life.
Yes.
And I really believe we either need a guy or a person like that, or we need to be that person for ourselves when there's nobody else. Because, I heard a statistic the other day, and it's totally off track, but the average male has an average of 0.5 friends.
Oh. And
what that means is that some people have several, many people have 0, but the average is 0.5. It's not even 1. And I think that, and I don't know I don't think that's a female. I think ladies typically have more friends than guys do, but especially as guys get older, they don't have. And the question is, well, who's going to encourage you? If you have no friends, or if you have one, and that friend, you say, hey, I'm thinking about doing a podcast every day and maybe putting it on video. And they're like, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
What's a podcast?
Yeah. So you got to pick those people around you who can not just say yes to everything you ideate, but you can say, I'm thinking about this. Oh, really? I think that'd be cool. What do you think? We just don't have too many people like that. So.
No, that's great.
All right.
The TIFF, or no, TFI, sorry.
TFI. Driving and fulfillment inventory.
Inventory. It's a tool now. It's a thing. You got to check into that. And it doesn't have to be your thing. Like, it doesn't have to be like if you sell for, commercial real estate thing, that's okay. There are parts of that might make you thrive and then parts that don't. So you do the things that make you thrive,
Yeah. Good.
Fulfill. Good stuff.
Right.
All right.
See you next time.
Yep. Bye.